Artists, today you are going to be starting a project that includes overlapping lines. You're going to be doing a variety of lines that overlap each other, and you're going to try to do a variety of them, which means more than one style. This handout will help you when you're doing your project. The number one step says you're going to fill your paper with an odd number of thick lines that overlap each other. So that means when you're drawing your lines, you want to make sure that you double up your lines or make them parallel to each other. So what that means is when I start with one line, so if this is a line that I'm starting with, I want to go parallel to it. So I want to match that line, and that's going to make it thick. So I would do that with all of the lines that I'm creating. I would start with a line, I would make it parallel to thicken it up. I'm also going to overlap my lines, which means I want my lines to go over top of other ones. And if you feel more comfortable starting with a pencil and then overlapping your lines with Sharpie, you can do that. Or if you're confident that you can get started with Sharpie, that's fine, but you only get one piece of paper, so make sure that each mark counts. So I'm going to pause and catch up by just drawing some thick overlapping lines. Once you've got your lines, double check that you have an odd number. Remember, you wanted them to be thick, so you wanted to do those parallel lines next to each other to make them thick. The second step is you're going to choose to leave some of the lines white, some of the lines solid black, and some of the lines you're going to add a pattern to. So I'm going to pause and do that. Now that you have some lines left white, some lines colored in solid black, and some lines with patterns, your next step is to choose a color scheme or a color family to finish your background. When we look at these color schemes and color families, it's easy to look at them on a color wheel. So on a color wheel, our primary colors are the three colors that we always start out with. These colors cannot be made by mixing two colors. That's red, blue, and yellow. So you could choose primary colors and just use those three colors on your project. The next choice is secondary colors. Those are the colors that are created when we mix two primaries together. So orange, which is made from mixing together red and yellow, green, which is made from mixing together yellow and blue, and violet, which is made from mixing together blue and red. So you could choose secondary colors of orange, green, and violet for your project. There's also complementary colors. Complementary colors are across from each other on the color wheel. So red and green. You can do different shades of reds and different shades of greens. We also have blue and orange. You can do different shades of blues and shades of oranges. And then violet and yellow. You could do different shades of violet and different shades of yellow. You can also do cool colors. Cool colors are usually on the left side of the color wheel. Those are going to be your blues, greens, and violets. You can also do warm colors. Those are going to be things on the right side of the color wheel, your reds, oranges, and yellows. Now those are your choices. You have to pick one color scheme to use for your whole project. For this project, we're going to be using colored pencils for our background. And you can do a couple of different things. You can choose for each of your sections of your background to be one of your colors. So since I'm choosing warm colors, I can make one section orange, one section yellow, one section red, one section that yellow orange. Or you could use all of these colors in each section by just kind of blending those colors together. So if I started with my red here, and I'm kind of aiming for my best, I'm not scribbling, but I can just kind of blend these colors together a bit. So I'm going to start with my red because it's my darkest one. And then I'm going to slowly blend in some of my oranges. So I'm kind of going a little bit over the color that I left off on. That's helping me blend my colors together. And then I'm going to pull some of that orange down. Even though it might look like I'm scribbling, I'm really taking care as to how my colors are blending together. I can always add some more red if I think it needs to blend a little bit more. I'm going to go to that other orange. I'm going to add that right in there. Kind of blending those colors together. And followed by my yellow. And like I said, you can always go back in and add your previous color to help you blend those colors a little bit better. So I can pull some of that orange down a little bit more to help me blend. And your goal is to fill up your whole background with whatever color scheme you decided to do. You'll know you're done when you have filled your paper with an odd number of thick lines that overlapped each other. We're using a variety. When you have chosen to leave some lines white, some black, some pattern, and when you have chosen one color scheme to finish your background.